is Ron Krause, and this is Boomer Life Lessons and Stories. And I believe we're on episode number 28. Time really is flying. It seems like it was only yesterday that we did our very first video. And I want to thank all of those of you who have subscribed and those that have viewed our content and, of course, left comments. That's very helpful to us. And we do appreciate any time you give us feedback so that we might know how we can either serve you better or do a better job in presenting the information and the data that we have. The other thing I'd like to ask you is if you could do us a favor by liking, sharing, and if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. And if you have already subscribed, please tell your friends about us. We're endeavoring to make the world a better place by spreading a little happiness and joy and maybe food for thought. Of course, we're here to entertain, but hopefully the things that we say and the information we provide is helpful to you in your personal life or your professional life. So what are we going to talk about this evening? I thought we might have a chat about why we never seem to be able to do better. Why is it we're always behind the curve? Why is it we never seem to have enough money and we make good money, or we never seem to have enough money because we don't make enough money? Or why is it that we're not happy in our job? You know, all of these questions kind of come from the same sort of roots that I'm going to talk about today. And if I say anything that is helpful, again, please let me know. First off, you know, I think that one of the biggest lessons I received growing up from my mother and dad, my mother was a very good money manager. My dad didn't make a whole lot of money. He was a truck driver, and back then truck drivers made okay money, but they always seemed to be living from paycheck to paycheck. We always had what we needed, but we never had everything that we wanted. And it always seemed like our neighbors were able to do more, go on more vacations, or have more things. But what we quickly found, and I'm not complaining, because what we quickly found is that we were rich in another way. As a matter of fact, it's kind of interesting that I grew up in a small community called Richland. Richland. The name just kind of makes you think about all the good things that the world has to offer, Richland. But actually, Richland was a hardworking, blue-collar community where good, hardworking men and women raised their families, took care of business, paid their bills, but they didn't have a lot of extra money left over. You know, and I see people today, and I've met lots of professional people that make really good money, right? And you'd think that they'd have all the money in the world to do whatever they want. But invariably, they end up broke. Simply stated, broke. Simply because they do what I'm labeling as number one. They don't deny themselves. Let's say I'm that person. I don't deny myself. I see something, I want it, I go and get it. It doesn't matter that it costs more than I can afford or pay cash for. What matters is that I can buy it on time and I can bring it home with me. But the problem with that, of course, and I've said this in another episode, is that we end up paying for it many times over because we get charged interest in terms of credit card payments. So when we do not deny ourselves and we forsake saving for a rainy day versus buying that new toy, we're actually doing something that is not good for the family, and we're perpetrating behaviors that will create problems for us down the line. So sometimes we should probably ask ourselves, do I really need that thing, whatever that thing is? Do I really need to go on that vacation? Do I really need to do this or that, right? So sometimes the right thing to do is to deny yourself and to conserve and save the money and build your emergency fund and build your savings. I have been acquainted with people who, upon the birth of their child, they started saving for the child's college education, and that child did not have to pay for college. Their education was already paid for. They took advantage of state programs, pay up until the child's ready to go to college, and the college is paid for altogether. Or they just put it back in savings, or they buy bonds. Whatever the case may be, they put money aside for their children's education. Whatever the case, it may not be a college education. You may not have any children. It might be for that new house you've always wanted to own, whether it's saving for the down payment or saving to pay cash for it. And I know that seems like to many a dream that is beyond reach. But as long as you dream that it is beyond reach, it will be. What you have to start telling yourself is, by denying myself, I'm going to be able to save for something that's going to be more beneficial to me and my family at some future state. And really, that's what it boils down to. Do you want satisfaction, that immediate satisfaction now, and then afterwards just good memories? Or do you want to sacrifice by creating a budget, sticking to the budget, and creating an emergency fund and saving for some goal, like a down payment on a house or paying cash for a car, or whatever the case may be? But it starts with denying yourself, getting away from the habit of, if you see it, you buy it, because that is going to lead you down to a very troublesome and difficult life ultimately. And you'll wake up one day, as my wife and I did, and I shared this in an earlier video. We were $10,000, $14,000 in debt in the 1980s. And I think the dollar is worth about a third of what it was in the 1980s today. So start by thinking and asking yourself, do I really need this object? What benefit will I get from it going forward in time? And if you can deny yourself and start building that emergency fund and growing your savings and your investments, you'll be amazed at what opens up to you at some future point in time. Here's another thing, number 2. I would rather have fun than create value by working hard. Oh, that's kind of an ouch, isn't it? I've kind of been guilty of that in the past. I would rather have fun than go off and work hard at working hard, creating multiple streams of income, taking a side job, or whatever the case may be, working at a charity, creating new relationships, right? I would rather go and have fun than do any of that, which would be a benefit to me in the community if I did otherwise. So sometimes by denying yourself, it's not just about money. It's about denying yourself the pleasures of everyday life in the short run, not for all time. When people hear this, well, I can either take this extra job on the side, or I can go to this party. Well, I'll go to the party because I deserve to go to that party. Well, you may deserve to go to the party, but if that extra job would allow you to add more to your savings or pay a bill off so that you can get to the point where you can pay cash, perhaps that extra job, that side job, is of more importance and of greater benefit to you at some future state, right? So having fun is therapeutic. There's no doubt about that. And I have always encouraged my employees when I was in corporate America to take their vacations, even if it were a staycation, staying at home, right? Because they need to recuperate from the stresses and the strains of the job. But having said that, if you have an opportunity, you want to go and add value to the family, add value to your investments. You want to think ahead about what you can do to help grow them more rapidly, right? So have fun, but don't let your having fun be your job or be all that you think about. You need to change your mindset. You need to be thinking critically about what it is that you're about to do, and is it necessary and sufficient to add value to your family and to help your family go forward in time. Number 3, I would rather be entertained than think long and deeply about things and work. I would rather, be entertained by somebody else, by a television program, rather than take on some other activity that will help me build and increase my knowledge and awareness that might allow me to identify opportunities by that increased awareness that otherwise, had I not done that, would have flown right by me, right? And I would have missed it. What was that? It went right by. It must have been something, must have been good, but I was unaware of it when it passed by. So when you think about it, it's okay to be entertained on occasion. Reward yourself, right? Don't deny yourself that reward, but don't let the reward become the big thing in your life. Don't let it become the constant thing in your life where you're always looking to be patted on the back and rewarded when you should be thinking about developing your skills and your knowledge so that you're able to recognize opportunity when it comes by. And I thank my blessings that I was able to, either through formal studies or informal studies, learn new things that increase my awareness about the opportunities that present themselves to me almost on a daily basis, that allow me to do other things to increase my family's net well-being. So that was number 3. Number 4, I would rather be a free spirit rather than disciplined. I would rather be a free spirit rather than disciplined and making plans and executing to those plans, whether those plans are in your personal life or in your business life. The thing about free spirits, and sometimes from a therapy standpoint, you got to blow off steam. You want to be that free spirit because you've been under stress for so long at work, right? Or some other way you've been under stress, like at your school. Sometimes it's okay to go blow off steam a little bit, right? But to live your life as a free spirit really means one thing that is fairly certain in my eyes, and that is living as a free spirit means that you're not developing yourself and awareness for opportunities. And it also means that living as a free spirit, when the winds of change come, you're going to be less able and capable of dealing with the changes. And therefore, you're going to be less able and capable to take care of your family. But being disciplined and staying focused on what needs to be done most of the time is what's important in terms of increasing value and the net well-being of your family. Again, I go point back to another episode I did. Maybe it was episode 3. What did Cicero say to the general? And this is a quote from Gladiator. He said, "Sometimes I get to do what I want to do, but most of the time I do what I have to do." And that's like we all should be. We do what we have to do to take care of the family, to take care of ourselves. The reason why that is so very, very important is that we don't want to fall prey to the point where we're unable to take care of ourselves or our family, and therefore we lose our self-esteem. We don't feel good about ourselves. We feel like the world's against us, when really changing starts with us. It doesn't start with the world. And so when you think about these things, it's okay to be a free spirit every now and then and do something at the spur of the moment. But generally speaking, what you want to do is to think critically and always be executing to a plan, whether it's to increase your emergency fund, whether it's to put money back to save for a down payment on a house, or pay cash for that first car, or whatever the case may be. You don't want to be distracted by the shiny objects all around you. And I'm sure that Miss Boomer is probably putting shiny objects around me in this episode. The point I'm trying to make is simply this: if we chase shiny objects, will never be all that we can be. And if that's the case, our family will never be all they can be with us doing so. Number 5, I fear competition rather than embrace the challenge. Have you heard people say that? I have. Oh, I don't want to go over there. It's too hard. Those guys are too good. It's hard to compete with them. So why should I even try? Or I can't be a doctor. I can't be an engineer. Or I can't be because I'm no good at math. Or I can't remember facts, etc., etc., etc. We go on and on with these excuses, with these self-inflicted wounds and roadblocks. Don't fear the competition. Be tenacious. Embrace the competition. That's what stretches you and grows you and makes you stronger of character, stronger of knowledge, stronger of will, more aware. Accept the challenge, and it's okay if they best you in the competition. But you know what? You're going to be the stronger and the wiser for having participated in the competition, whatever it may be. And the other thing I would suggest to you is, if you have children, encourage them to strive to be more than you were. If you thought you were never good at math, encourage your children. They can do math. They can learn math. They can do some of the most complicated calculations that there are, but they need your encouragement. It starts at home. A nurturing family will allow them to grow into that person that you want them to be and that they want to be and to become. Number 6, I would rather other people take responsibility. That's not for me. I don't want to take responsibility. Well, you know what a person is saying when they say that? I don't want to accept responsibility for anything that I do, and therefore I can do anything I want, no matter if it brings value to the family or not, whether it brings shame to the family or not, or shame on oneself, or shame on the school that you graduated from, or whatever the case is, or it gives the business that you work for a hit to their reputation. No, you shouldn't take this type of attitude. Other people are responsible because they're adults. And we are responsible because we're striving to be the best adult that we can be. To be an adult means you take responsibility for your successes and for your failures. And for your failures, you learn and try to do better the next time, whether it's in finances or in personal relationships or whatever the case is. We take responsibility because we are adults. We don't let others take responsibility for us, because then they begin to make decisions for us and we have no say in that. And in this great country of ours, where freedom is so precious, we don't want anybody making decisions for us other than ourselves, because we're adults. We're rational thinking people, and we know enough about ourselves and our family to make decisions that are right for ourselves and for our family. Okay? So those are my top 6 things that are there that people tell themselves, or the things that people do that limit them and always put them in a perpetual state of, why can I never do better? You can change your mindset, change your habits, and change what you think and do every day. And with that, I'm going to leave it with you. All my best, and please know you're always on my mind.